All right, sales track review. Next week, like I said, we're going to be announcing the new sales tool, and we'll be reviewing that sales tool on the call on Monday. So since we have completed sales track, I figured we would do a review, go through the 5 steps to success, and then finish the call out that way. Darlene, by the way, it is great to see you on a call. Great to see you here again, and thank you for the reminder there about the slides. And Joan, as always, great to see you on the call, and so many other people that have been such an integral part of the success of our company. Okay, so in the first 6 lessons of sales track, we want to make sure we're being very clear here. The first 6 lessons, make a note of this, is outlining what I would like to call your introduction to a prospective agent or a prospective client. I want you also to remember that the first 6 lessons of sales track are transferable from agent sales to agent recruiting, from prospect sales to prospect recruiting. There's just some very slight language change that you would put into place in order to move the conversation more towards sales or more towards recruiting. The question is always asked, do I sell to recruit? Do I recruit to sell? And the reality of that situation is you do both. There should not be a one or the other that's in place. We should always be looking at the relevancy to the individual that we are speaking to, whether that be as a client or that be as an agent. How do we find that out? We find it out by asking good questions. We find it out in our introduction, which is our first 6 lessons of sales track. And I know everybody's thinking to themselves, wow, 6 lessons just to introduce. Well, no, we're breaking it down into minute detail for you. Your introduction maybe will span anywhere from 15 minutes to 25 minutes of total conversation time that you're having with the client. And this is your initial introduction to the client, your meeting, or your first kind of rundown of how you're going to pull things together for the client. So don't be put off by the fact that we show 6 lessons. So the first lesson is the starting point, with whom do I start? And that is your name list. That is doing your memory jogger. That is going through and finding out, who am I going to approach? Where am I going to approach them? How am I going to approach them? Lesson number 2 is actually the first part of your actual introduction to people that you have decided you want to go after or talk to or be in meetings or whatever, and that is your 15-second commercial. 3 is the use of qualifiers and tie-down questions. That's where we really find out, where the client wants to head. Are they interested in becoming an agent? Are they interested in purchasing the product? Or are they potentially interested in both sides of that equation? The one thing that I have found is all too many people get involved in direct sales or things of that nature, and they get one pitch, and that's the only pitch they have, and that's what they go with. That's what they stay with. It never changes. It never modifies. And I think we alienate a lot of clients that way because we lose relevance to the client, and that's what we need to be speaking to, is what is important to the client. In your personal and borrowed story, make sure you watch the videos, do your self-training. If you are in debt, buy the worth account, period. One of the first questions that are going to come out of people's mouths when you try to approach them about the product is, are you using the product? And if your answer is no, you have lost a lot of credibility with the client, unless you have no debt. And your answer is no, because I am out of debt and I see the value of this particular product. The litmus test is your step 5. It's one of the best qualifying two statements I've ever come across. We'll see that in just a moment here. And setting the appointment in stone is lesson 6. That's what we completed a couple weeks ago. You can refer your appointment to a corporate or field closer, or run your own analysis and close your own deal. You do have the ability to do both. You can refer some to a corporate closer in the corporate office, and some, if you know them very well or you feel confident, you can go ahead and run your own analysis. Your introduction When you're first beginning with a client, the story, a compelling story, a borrowed story, a story of success is always remembered. People may forget the concepts and information shown in a PowerPoint or analysis or demonstration because people tend to blur over with numbers and just looking at screens. What we have to remember is that our personal stories of success and failure are what are going to speak to a client the most. Most people think about it when you're at a party, think about it when you're at maybe just over Christmas. People that were trying to run through numbers or trying to run through technical information, that information kind of gets lost. But when the people that were telling a good story, a great story, you're kind of on the edge of the seat. You want to hear more about that story. But what you're also looking for in that story is relevance. And that comes back to your qualifying questions. So think about this. When you tell your story, make it a story that's relevant to the questions you've asked your client and the responses you've received from your client. What you need to understand is this is your first impression with the client, your first professional impression. And I think the question has to be asked of what is your brand? What do you want to be branded as? Do you want to be branded as together and professional and on time and reliable and responsible? If that's what you're looking for, then that's what you have to display to the client. You need to be prepared. You need to be dressed for business. You need to be well-groomed. I know that may not make a lot of sense to a lot of you, but people make very quick snap judgments, and a lot of those snap judgments are made in the first 5 to 10 seconds of conversation with you. And I want you to think about yourself. People are looking at you from your nose to your shoes, and they're watching your body language and watching how you interact with them, and they are looking for those signs of comfort and those signs that you can be trusted and those signs that you are relatable and that you are relevant. So I want you to really think about each time you approach a client, this is your first impression, whether they're going to be an agent or a user of the product, and what is it that you want your brand to be? How do you want people to perceive you? And then that will begin to tailor and modify your information. Become a product of the product. Your personal experience of purchasing and actively using the Worth account will trump all other methods to deliver a strong message about the Worth account to your prospects. The only other thing I can think it has as much impact as your personal story is once you get them into the process, we get a lot of traction with people that are very good at doing demonstrations of the product. Going through the basics, running their analysis. I have a lot of agents right now that instead of going from running the analysis into a PowerPoint, they run the analysis, and if they have questions, they do a demonstration of the product. Please do not forget the power of a good demonstration of this product. If you go to your agent portal, if you go under agent materials, you'll see that there is a demo there. You'll see there's also a demo recorded under Worth Unlimited videos. Sales track review, we're still in this. This is your litmus test on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 means nothing and 5 is absolutely imperative. Where on that scale is your desire to get out of debt? This is a question that you are asking the client. If the client comes back with a positive response, like they say they're a 3 or a 4 or 5, you can obviously tell it's important, again, to get out of debt or earn extra money if you're going for the recruiting side, or have a already completed business model that you do not have to redesign the wheel, that can come alongside your current business as a complement. As I said with Sales Track, little bit of word change and you're either selling the product or you are recruiting. So it could be on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 means nothing and 5 is absolutely imperative. Where does your desire to whatever, get out of debt, pay off your debt, have a small business on your own, work part-time and earn extra money, have a great complement to your current business model, where on that scale are you of a 1 to 5? If they come back with a good response of a 3 or 4 or 5, ask them the next question. This is kind of the sealer. Are you serious or are you just curious about becoming an agent, about becoming a user of the product? Do not coax them. Give them time to respond. Always give your client time to respond. This is something I've been guilty of for a large portion of my career, is asking a question and then becoming impatient and asking another question before I got the answer to the first question. Or asking a question and then kind of answering it myself or the client and then moving on to another question. This is very defeating, very frustrating to the client. Those of you that know me well know that this is something that I've worked on for years. I've actually become a lot better at it, but not all of us have that built into them. But active listening skills, that ability to ask a question, state your case, be quiet, allow the client time to process the information and respond to you. I want everyone to remember that sales is an art form. And when it comes to your appointment, I think a lot of people forget this. We know that sales is an art. We know there's certain steps, certain procedures and processes that are involved when we're making a sale, especially if we've been doing the same kind of sale for years, we've had success at that type of sale. We know there's a rhythm to it, but I want you all to remember the last lesson we did, setting the appointment in stone. There is a rhythm to that appointment process as well. We called it reduce to two, give them two options. Always look busy, always have a day planner, a smartphone pad, whatever it is, so you're actually checking dates, you're putting information into the phone. Utilize that. Eliminating any of these fundamentals drastically reduces your chances of success in the sale as well as setting the appointment. You know, there was an episode on Seinfeld that said there's not a problem with setting the appointment. Apparently, there's a problem with keeping the appointment. Anybody can set appointments. But what we're really looking for is appointments that your clients will want to keep, that they will want to show up for. So making statements at the end of an appointment like, you know, I'm a businesswoman, businessman that was raised to take my business very seriously. I am going to be at your house on December 27th. I will be there at 7:30. You told me that your wife will be present and you will have the materials ready to go so we can run the analysis. Can I expect the same thing from you? And wait until you get an answer from them. The steps we have covered so far have led you up to this point, up to where we are, that you should be well on your way to being able to approach clients and being able to set appointments that they will keep. Another thing I think that we forget to do when it comes to appointments, whether they're with the corporate office or an appointment that you're going to keep, inform your prospect. Just a reminder, we'll be doing a short 10 to 15-minute questionnaire regarding your household income and debts. That is your analysis. You could call it a savings report. I will not be asking you for your Social Security number, birth date, or any of your account numbers. I will not be asking for any sensitive personal information. All we're going to look at are things like your mortgage balance, interest rate, and payment, and the same on your other debts as well as your income amounts and frequencies. Okay, does that sound good to you? Can you be prepared when we have our appointment with all of that information and ready to go? If you're turning it over, it's just a slight changing of words. We're going to make a call together and set up an appointment for a free analysis. When you set up the appointment, when they call you back to have your analysis, they will now be asking you for your Social Security number, same information, but I think it's very important that you inform your client. You don't know how many clients are set up with appointments. We give them a call to run their analysis, and they tell us that the agent never informed them of what they needed for that appointment. That is your job. Now, my individuals that take the appointments for analysis typically will review with the client before they let them go that you're going to need to have this information, your mortgage balance, interest rate, and same on your other debts, and be ready at this date and this time. It's not beyond someone to make a mistake there. So I put that on the agent that if you're making the three-way call, which is what you should be doing to turn your client over to us, if my individuals here at support do not go over that information, make sure before you get off the phone you let your client know on the date of your appointment, on date they just set up, They're going to be asking for this information. I need you to get source data, maybe your statements, get the information from online, the most accurate information you have, so that when they call you for your appointment, you'll be ready to go and they can make the best of their time and the best of your time as well. So with that having been said, I want to go real quick to Joan. And I just want to ask Joan, I know Joan has been wrestling with a cough, and I just want to ask Joan if she has any input that she would like to give us. Joan, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, my goodness. You said that cold did not go away.
It's still here, but I am doing better. This is my better voice.
Awesome. Merry Christmas to you. Now that we've reviewed the sales track, is there anything that you would like to add?
Well, I think you did a great job reviewing it, so I'm not going to go through and review it, but I do want to emphasize a couple things. Really, that sales track is a way to increase that sense of urgency. You were talking about Seinfeld and how it's easy to make an appointment, but it's harder to maintain that appointment. And really, following sales track is going to help you do just that. It's going to help increase that sense of urgency. It's going to help increase the likelihood that somebody will, in fact, maintain the appointment. It's also going to help you to really weed out people that are not a good fit for Worth Account. Although we can help a lot of people, that doesn't mean that this program is meant for everyone. I really don't believe it is meant for everybody. Some people are simply in love with their debt. They're in that abusive relationship. They have no desire to get out of it. And it's not our place to force them to get out of that abusive relationship. They have to want that desire. So it's not for everybody. So really that sales track is meant to help that. And all 6 aspects of sales track are absolutely critical. The good news is, though, you don't have to follow them in order. In fact, you should not follow them in order. If you're having a proper conversation with somebody, and this is about 10 to 15 minutes long, if you're having a conversation with somebody, there really is no way to script it, and there's no way to stay in order. But I think really it's critical at the beginning of that conversation to ask lots of questions. As Max said, that's really one of the most critical pieces to this process, so that you can get to know what's important to them. You can use it to help guide them down the path where you want to go, weed out the people who aren't interested, weed out the people that are not a good fit. And it's going to help you to focus on what's important to your client. And then that's going to tell you what stories you're going to tell. It's going to help you learn what words to use in the litmus test when you're asking on a scale of 1 to 5, where's your desire to, and then input whatever they said was important to them. So really, I think asking questions is one of the most important aspects, because that's going to tell you how to integrate the rest of the sales track into this process. So I do love the sales track, and if you are using it properly, you will set the appointment in stone. It's going to naturally lead down that path, and you will increase that sense of urgency and increase the likelihood of maintaining those appointments.
Thank you very much, Joan. I always love your commentary, and I love having you on these calls. You're always so consistent, and even when you're sick. That just blows me away. So thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to you, and a very Happy New Year, and thank you very much for your input.
To you as well. Thank you, and to everybody on the call. Thank you.
All right, awesome. Okay. So 5 steps to success. This is a system that we have come up with, and this system was brought to us by some leaders in the field. I know that Darlene Preston had some input on this. I know Joan had some input on this. I know that Sam actually put it together and delivered it to me, but this comes from leaders in your field. We have actually found this to be a very successful system for people that are following this 5 steps to success. See results in your business by utilizing this. But again, we have to go back to the concept of activity. We have to go back to the concept of understanding that it's not about results today. It's about a little bit of activity every single day on your business. It could be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day, every day, a little bit of activity. And if you continue to prime that pump and talk to people, you never know. People 6 months later will get back in touch with you. People that you've contacted 10 times will finally say to you, you know what, I do have some interest in seeing more about that. Can you tell me more about the program? Tell me about how this comes together. Because someone says no doesn't mean no to you. It's not personal. It means no, not right now. No, I'm not ready. Stay in touch with people until they tell you that they don't want to hear from you anymore. And I know that sounds abrupt, but I can't imagine any of you making people mad, so to speak, just trying to get moving. Stay in touch with these people. Situations always change. So what we call the 5 steps to the success is 5 STS. And the first is your self-training. Now, if you were recruited by somebody, yes, they should spend some time with you. They should probably take you on a tour of the agent portal. But it is not their responsibility to take a mountain of time to sit down and teach you how to do analysis, teach you what the videos are saying that you're going to be sending to the clients, how to send a video out. All of that information is located in your back office. Step 2 is your own personal analysis. These 2 things I think everybody should do before they do their name list. So many people tend to get in and they do a name list. They don't do any training. They don't know anything about really how the product works, how the product's going to work for them, how it's going to come together. And they go out and try to approach people and they fumble. So where the 6 steps of sales track, that starts with your name list. These are your 5 steps to success. And we tell people, without a doubt, when you first come in the company, one of the first things you could do is your self-training. The second thing you should do is run your own personal analysis. And once again, if it benefits you and you're in debt, then I would suggest you buy the program. Number 3 is your prospect list. Number 4 is set several appointments each week. Number 5 is 4 sales in a month. And if you go back to the bonus, that would be a $450 bonus on each sale. If we say an average of $3,100 a sale, that would be $12,400 just there. It'd be $450 on each sale. Just in volume, whether you did that in your first 30 days or not, that would take you all the way up to managing director. Success in 30 days is what we are looking for all of our agents and all of our clients. So step 1, within the first 24 hours, go to your agent portal and watch your prospective client 30-minute videos there. If you go to your replicated website, go to your portal, go to your replicated site, you'll see exactly what you're seeing here with 3 videos at the base. All videos take 35 minutes. If you have not done this, then I would expect you to do it sometimes here in the very near future. This is part of your training. The other thing is the Worth Agent Training. If you notice down here at the base, we have the Worth Agent Training videos, and that's off to the right side here. And the Worth Agent Training videos, you see Lesson 1, Back Office, Lesson 2, Agent Resources, Lesson 3, Analysis, Lesson 4, the Shopping Cart, and then the Compensation Plan. That is all in there. We expect you to do that within your first 24 hours of joining the company. Now, a lot of people say, well, I'm just joining part-time. I don't need to go. Yes, you do. If you are committed to selling this product, if you're committed to the utilization of this product by other people, you need to be educated on the product. You need to invest the time. And the reason that we do this is, yes, the individual that brought you in the company is there to answer questions for you, guide, and direct you as well. But I'm telling you, you want to irritate a leader in the field, call them up and ask them a question that's answered in one of these videos. Go through the videos, do your self-training, and become proficient at your craft. Step 2, run your own personal analysis. Running your own personal analysis is something I believe that every agent that comes into this company should do, and you should do that within your first 48 hours of joining the company. The reason I tell people to run their personal analysis is, number one, it gets you familiar with how to run an analysis for a client. Number two, I think there's a lot of people that join the company just thinking of it as a business and don't think about what the benefit it would be to them personally. Whether you're looking at this as a business and a client, or just as a client and you're on the fence, the analysis is an integral part to figuring out what this program can do for you, how this company is set up. It exposes you to so much of what our company is all about. So step two, run your own personal analysis. Step three, this is your name list. Make yourself a name list. Use a memory jogger. Go through your cell phone. This is something I've heard Darlene say and I've heard Joan say. I've heard just about every leader, Pete Abraham, Sam Skaggs, just about John Fraser, just about every leader in the field that has had success with this product. I have heard them say this before. Don't decide who should hear your message and who should not. Write out your name list, write out your memory jogger, get every name, every phone number that you can, and then start making phone calls. Create your top 25 list and move down from there. You may even just want to create your top 10 list as your hot list. The next 15 is your warm list, and then everybody after that is your cold list. But go after anyone and everyone that you can find. And here's why I say this. People's situations always change. Embarrassment will keep us from performing our job. We have a great message for people. We have a great solution to debt. We have a great solution for part-time money. And I think all too often we look at a name in our phone or a name on our list and we go, yeah, I don't feel comfortable calling them, or they wouldn't want that information, or, last time I spoke to them, just make the call. And you can do it very passive. You can do it in the context of, I am doing this. I'm involved with this company. I've been helping people get out of debt. I'd like to get your eyes on this and get your opinion. I'm learning how to do this. I need to practice on someone. Go to your friends. Ask them to let you practice on them. Add them to your back office and start calling them to set appointments. Once you come up with that name list, start adding them to the back office. Go through, start making phone calls. Tell them you want to send them a couple videos you want them to watch. Program that's been on the market since 2006 has had great traction. There are so many entryways to individuals to helping them get out of debt, set up a small business, or do both. And that key is your proficiency, your ability to deliver this message. Step 4 is prospect introduction. Now, for those of you that want to do everything on your own, do it from beginning to end, this may not apply, but most people that come in at the very beginning typically don't have the confidence to take somebody from introduction all the way down to closing. Now, you may be brand new to the call, and you may be one of those individuals that feels very confident. So, hi, Mike. I'm helping people eliminate debt and build wealth. Would you be willing to watch a short video presentation? This is just maybe your introduction. You can put more words in this. I'm trying to make this concise and to the point. They're going to ask you a presentation about what? Well, I've been working for a company, and they've been helping people get out of debt, and I would like to see if this would be something that could assist you or assist your family. Another way you could do it is, hi, Mike, I'm helping people eliminate debt and build wealth. Would you be willing to speak to my partner to see if this may be a good fit? That partner could be your upline. That could be you've shown them the videos, or that could be your third party. Remember the three-way call. Who is the expert? The third person on the call. Who is the expert? The person from out of town with the briefcase. Do not forget the power of the three-way call. You don't have to know everything right now, just how to effectively repeat these statements. This is about spreading, casting your net very wide. If you go after 2-3 people a week, the chances of your success are going to be very small. This is a numbers game. You need to get out there, talk to as many people as you can, be social, be on the phone, making phone calls. If you truly want to build a business, building a business takes effort. If you truly want to change people's lives, you're going to have to get in front of a lot of people. before you're probably going to make your first couple sales. So keep that in mind. All right, so step 5, get paid. 4 sales in 30 days is our goal, and you will have an active and productive team. If you can keep that going, if you can keep that together, duplicate that process over and over again, you would be shocked how much money you can make with this company, especially if you are creating a downline and you are plugging people into this system, into the 6 steps of sales track, the 5 steps to success. People are doing their self-training, they're doing their names list, following the things that we know that we should be doing. You know, Thomas Jefferson made a comment, and I love this quote, "It is amazing to me how much effort it takes to get people to do the things they already should be doing." No one should have to push you towards success, and let me tell you this, success will not bite you. Success does not hurt. This is just a matter of getting over yourself, so to speak, getting out of your comfort zone. Yes, I know it's uncomfortable, but that is the way you're going to see success inside this company. Once you've done that, rinse and repeat. So the 5 steps to success are self-training, personal analysis, prospect list, several appointments each week, 4 sales in a month, success in 30 days. This has been a proven system that we have utilized for people to achieve success. So in summary, you've set your appointment in stone. Few and far between doesn't make you money. You need to remember that. Just a little bit here and there isn't going to make you money. You need to have numbers. Show to everyone you know and build a substantial pipeline. Don't make the decision on who should hear the information and who should not hear this information. Work at your business every day. Celebrate the little wins. I think all of us are always looking for that big sale, but if you set an appointment, that's a win. If you make a contact that says they're willing to meet with you, that is a win. If you get an analysis from a client, that is a win. If you get one of your friends to run an analysis, that is a win. If you turn somebody over to the corporate office, that is a win. Celebrate your little wins. Some other little wins are if you've never done anything like this or you've struggled building your business or getting things together on your business, one of the things that you may want to think about is if you structure out an hour a day and you stick to that every day for a week, that's a little win. If you actually sit down and you write out your contact list and start loading people into your back office, those are little wins. All of these things will prime the pump. They will prime your ability to move forward, to be resilient. This type of business takes endurance. It takes resilience. You have to stay with it. You would be amazed how many people in all areas of business quit just before they were going to see success. And if you listen to some of the greatest success stories in history, like Steve Jobs, he sold his Volkswagen. The last thing he really owned, his VW, for the money to build his first circuit board, and look where that led him. Celebrate your little wins. Have a game plan and have a plan to carry it out. I cannot emphasize this too greatly. It's one thing to have a game plan and then sit around and just look at it. It's another thing to have a game plan and then write out, how am I going to pull this game plan into practice? How many calls a day am I going to make? How many B&I meetings or social meetings am I going to go to a week? Am I going to join things like LinkedIn? Am I going to start searching for people that are looking for jobs? How many emails am I going to send out a week? How much self-training and study am I going to do each week? Have a game plan. There's an old saying that says, those that fail to plan to fail. So make your game plan, but follow that up with a plan to carry it out. Keep things simple to the process and trust your training, especially in the very beginning. Keep things simple to the process and trust your training. If you go through the 6 steps in your introduction, you use that setting the appointment in stone, you're going to see that your clients are going to show up for the appointment. If you've done your self-training, if you have run your own analysis, if you have done things of this nature, you're going to be prepared to meet your clients, and you're going to be prepared to carry your clients through the process. Paul Uswitz, who's been with our company for a while, just typed in The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. If you want to look that book up. To be honest with you, I have not read it. I know Paul, and Paul is a very educated man, so I am pretty certain this is a good book. It's consistency, doing small things each day, consistently starting to implement this. So that is Darren Hardy, and it's called The Compound Effect. There's a lot of books out there right now in regards to daily activity, being consistent, perseverance, moving through your struggles. Some people view struggles as obstacles they cannot overcome. Other people view them as challenges that they must overcome. Mindset is a big part of what we do in our business. So this slide I'm going to go past, because next week we all know what is going to happen next week, and next week is going to be the announcement of our brand new sales tool. As I mentioned, we have been working on this for a few months. I really want you to get as many people on the call as possible to review that sales tool. I want all of you on the call as well. I think you're going to be very impressed and very excited at what you see. I think it is going to make your sales process smoother and easier for you. If you have any questions for me or the corporate office, you can feel free to reach out to me. That's my email and phone number. Or you can reach out to Worth Agent Support, and that is their phone number as well. You know, I have a gentleman on the phone that I haven't had the opportunity to have on the phone in quite some time, and I'm just taking a chance here because I didn't know he would be on the phone. But I have Mr. Steve Young on the phone, and I don't know how many of you know who Steve is, but Steve has probably got more years in sales than I do. I'm going to see if I can unmute Steve real quick. Steve, are you there?
I am, Mac, and how are you, sir?
I am doing wonderfully, and you know I didn't prompt you for this. I just saw your name on the list. And people, I just want to give you a little prompt with Steve. Steve is a gentleman that I met a few years back and has become a good personal friend as well as a business associate. But this is a gentleman that in every aspect understands training individuals, bringing individuals from agent status to President's Club, taking people from making nothing to making something out of their business. Steve, you heard the whole training tonight. I know you. I know you're always sitting there and listening. And I just wanted to ask, do you have any comments for our field? I know while you were sitting there, you always make notes. You always grab little nuggets. And you always have forethoughts about what you're hearing and what's being said. Is there anything that you would like to say to our field?
Well, right there, Mac, you said something so significant. I took 2 pages of notes, been through this a million times, and you can never take it for granted. And so I want to thank you for the gift of your time, and here's exactly what went through my head. I'm just recollecting and reviewing everything that we already know. Everybody on this phone has been perhaps seasoned is what I'm expecting, but here's what I just really took away. You know what this country needs? It needs a lot of hope. We need hope. And what does this program do? I mean, biblically, debt sucks. It's not good. Nobody should have it. We should never be encumbered to anybody. Nobody likes it. And you went through steps to start penetrating, asking easy, simple questions on how to soften people's attitudes to be open to listen. And so if we're going to give hope, folks, and we just read today that's significant to what you said today, Mac, if you don't mind real quickly, is that there was a major article written by a guy that we do business with and work with. He's a journalist in the financial area. And basically he was talking about that, you know, all hell's going to break loose. You might hear the stock market's doing great. Well, how are you all doing on the phone with the stock market? You see, are you benefiting from it? Maybe your 401ks are, and they're talking about everything's looking bright. And we love that. We love that the energy level's high in commitment. And here's the truth, though. The truth has got to be reality. And the truth's pretty scary because there's completely something different happening in our economy, and this is it. Middle class is definitely shrinking. And who does this program that we're working with now with Worth help? It's the middle class. And boy, the disparity between the wealthy and the middle class is unbelievable. The highest percentage of young people between the ages of 18 and 35 are living at home with their parents. Are you kidding me? And that's just a fact. And I can go on and on. You all know it. You see it. You hear it. But do we bring out the alternatives? Do we talk about what's important? And it's tied. We used to get paid based upon productivity. Those days are gone, so paychecks aren't getting any bigger. You keep hearing that politically now. Got to see pay raises. Well, what's the best pay raise than getting out of debt? And that's what I got out of Mac again, just listening to him. And he does it over and over again. So, Mac, appreciate it. I'm energized by you and the commitment. And by the way, Joan, she's so soft-spoken and just lovely to listen to. It makes you just want to just be plugged in. So great job. Appreciate it. I hope I gave you a little something to think about. I'm motivated. The company and the software does the trick for people. It'll give them hope and then give them the answer. Thank you, Mac.
Hey, Steve, Joan just wanted me to make sure that she said thank you for the kind words. And Steve, I never have any doubts about having you on the call just because I know where your center is. I know what you call true north. You always have good information. I know you are consummate when it comes to helping people. And so I just want to thank you for letting me maybe pull you a little bit out of your comfort zone this evening and dropping you on the call without any warning and without any notice. But as I said, I'm always confident in you and what you do. So thank you very much, Steve, for your time.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
All righty. I'm going to go to Joan real quick. And we know that Joan has got a little bit of a thing going on there, but any final words or comments from you, Miss Joan?
Thank you. Well, first, thank you, Steve. That was very nice of you to say. Thank you. Cold and all, I appreciate it. I think really what I would like to say is don't leave your future in other people's hands. You have the tools in front of you to be successful. These 5 steps to success are exactly what you need to do to be successful. So don't leave your future in other people's hands, and don't blame other people for your success or your lack of success. It comes down to what choices and what action are you going to take. So don't make excuses, take action. These 5 steps I think are absolutely critical. Take that initiative, follow those 5 steps, do the self-training, watch the videos, run your analysis, create your list, and start talking to people. Do that action. That action is absolutely critical. And remember, you're never a prophet in your own backyard, ever. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing this. It doesn't matter what degrees you have. It doesn't matter anything. You are never a prophet in your own backyard. Use those third parties as a way to build credibility. Whether or not you're using these two, using the third party and the wording that you saw in those 5 steps, whether you're using that or not is irrelevant. Use third parties to help build your credibility. But when you use them, make sure you edify the heck out of that individual that you're going to be using for that third party. When I see a lot of people doing those three-part calls, I see so many people edifying the prospect. Oh, I have this realtor on the phone. They're the top salesperson in the city, And that's great information to know. But really, are you edifying the manager or that supervisor or the colleague from work that you're going to be putting them on the phone with? I sure hope so, because I sure just see a lot of reverse edification. So edify the heck out of that person that you're going to be introducing to your prospect. 2018 starts next week. Can you believe that? It starts next week. I mean, that's just crazy. I want to challenge every single person on the call. Follow these 5 steps. Start over. It doesn't matter if you are an agent with the company, if you're an executive director, if you're a partner. Start over. Follow these 5 steps. Start from the beginning in 2018 and make 2018 the year of action. Make 2018 the best year yet. So just start over with 2018, regardless of where you've been with Worth Unlimited in the past, and make 2018 the best year ever. So thank you so much. Happy New Year to everybody, because we won't be on the call again until 2018, but follow the 5 steps. Make that be your New Year's resolution, that you're going to start over following the 5 steps, taking control, taking responsibility for your business, and making 2018 the best year yet. Thanks, Mac.
Thank you so much, Joan. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, everyone on the call. I hope that everyone has a very, very happy New Year. We won't speak again until the call on January 2nd, which is Tuesday. Mark that on your calendar. Invite everyone you can. There will be the release of a new sales tool. We will have John and Skylar Whitman on the telephone on January 2nd on that webinar. So as I always say, let's get out there and do it big. Let's get out there and do it right. But at the very least, let's get out there and do something big right now. This is Mac Saunders saying bye-bye for now.